So you went from being a bouncer to 2 days later starting an email marketing company.
Yeah, well, there was some like I was doing purchasing, like I didn't, probably cash for gold.
Yeah.
Like I had like that type of like franchise running, and then I was selling laughing gas. I had like stores, so it went more like 18 to 19. I was a bouncer, and then from 19 I started being an entrepreneur. Then I went to the gold business. Then I went to the laughing gas business. So like I actually met this the guys who were affiliates through my laughing gas business, because affiliates are usually, let's say, like addicted to a lot of stuff. So they were big customers of mine. So we delivered like laughing gas to their office all the time and that type of thing. So I actually met them through that. And with the laughing gas thing, I learned how to like do e-commerce. I learned how to do like Facebook ads. I learned how to do like SEO, just to basically like everything, how affiliate marketing works and like all this.
Okay, yes, because the laughing gas business, funny that you call it like a business, but it's funny because I know the guy that does that in Marbella. I know it's a different game now, maybe to compare to what it was, but that's and that was all in Finland back home.
Yeah, and I actually got that idea here from Marbella, because I was my ex-boss had like a huge yacht in Puerto Banús, and they also liked like a lot of the laughing gas. So we ordered like a bunch of, we called it the demon, like when you have 600 like patrons of laughing gas. We called it a demon, so we ordered like multiple demons to the yacht, and like everybody was just like taking the balloons. And immediately when I was flying back to Finland, I was like, this cannot be legal, right? This is you get like so high from this stuff. And then I called like the Finnish basically the food administration, and they said like, oh, yo, it's fully legal. And then we started pushing it. So
okay, and it's still fully legal.
yeah, it's fully legal. Yeah, you cannot really ban laughing gas, because it's like a chemical that they use to like in like meat. And if you go to a supermarket and you see like vacuum meat, that's usually nitrous oxide that is in it. So you cannot really ban nitrous oxide. And how you get high from laughing gas is actually that the nitrous oxide is gonna replace your oxygen in your blood, and it's basically the same as somebody would fucking choke you out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So like technically it's impossible to make it illegal, but you can give like penalties and fines if you like, let's say like you cannot advertise like gasoline for like, hey, sniff this in your party. And then to the advertisement side, that's like the problem though. We went pretty wild with that.
Because I got a funny story. Is that I knew, again, I'm not a saint. I wouldn't call myself a saint, but when it comes to this sort of stuff, when I was an athlete fighting in UFC, living in America, I was just like head down, training. I was teetotal for a little while. I was very, very on it, you know. I like to party and have a good time, but I was never into like the dark side, doing drugs and all that sort of stuff. Never been my thing. But then during COVID in Marbella here, we had these guys that would rent out villas, because all the clubs were closed, all the bars were closed, and they'd rent out full villas, and they would sell tables in these villas. Genius idea. Whoever did this was a genius, because they'd sell these tables for like big money, and they'd have loads of them, and they would rent the villa for like a month or for 2 weeks on Airbnb. They would clear it out, they would chuck some tables down, they'd get a DJ in there, and then you're smiling, so hopefully it wasn't you that I spent the money on. Anyway, I went to one of these parties, and there was just these big canisters at every single table, like these big giant ones. And I had no idea what it was. I literally like oblivious to what it was. And some guy gave me like a balloon, and I was like, it was weird. That's my first experience of it. And that night, again, I just walked into the house and just stood on some guy's table, because I didn't realize people had paid all this money for all these tables. And I was just helping myself to drinks and do whatever. And this guy came up to me and go, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, whatever." And then about 2 hours later, the police come in, and it was like a movie. Like in Spain, the Guardia Civil, there's like 3 types of police, and the Guardia Civil are the ones that you don't fuck with. They're the horrible cunts. And he comes in and he pulls his badge out and he puts it over his like bulletproof vest, and he gets a bat out and he just starts whacking people. And I was like, okay, I think it's about time that we left. But that's my only ever experience with laughing gas is what I was going to say. During COVID, going to an illegal party, and it was already set up. So it's obviously like was a big industry, because it was like expected to be there, this big canister thing that I'd never seen before.
They actually used to sell them here in Puerto Banús for the yachts and like all the streets, but now I think it stopped like a few years ago.
Yeah, maybe it became more, like you said, controlled or
Yeah.
whatever the phrase would be. Anyway, we're not here to talk about laughing gas. I just didn't really know anything about that. So you became an entrepreneur with laughing gas and gold. But what gave you the vision? Because you said like the biggest problem with people getting eight-figure companies is they don't have. You kind of said the qualities. I would say the balls and self-belief to think that they deserve that. What do you think gives you that you do deserve to be that guy at the top? You deserve to be that guy that's running a company that's making these sort of figures.
Well, to be humble, I was looking at these guys. I thought like, okay, I'm probably smarter and more hardworking, so I should get that money as well and more. So that basically gave me a benchmark. So if you can have somebody who comes from like a IT customer service and starts making like 50 grand a month with email marketing, I was like, okay, probably I can make 100. I should make 100. It's not like I could make 50. I was like, okay, I need to make double than that guy. So that was how it basically started. And then when I got into the industry, I just started meeting so much people who make like ridiculous amounts of money. So then it just became like the new normal. So everybody you meet in the industry conference, like, hey, I made like 2 million last month. Okay, yes, and somebody made like 6, and that's like it's fully normal. So then that became like the new normal, and especially like we're doing this first in like Finland, but pretty fast, like not only like a couple of months in, we decided like, okay, we need to start doing this like globally. And then like 2016, 2015, we just moved to the States and started going to the biggest conferences, meeting people and like networking like hell. And what I can say from like like if you do something and you succeed in Finland like a little bit, or like even in any like small country, you get like a couple of 100,000 maybe. But if you do the same thing and you do that in like United States or globally, then you fucking make millions. Any business where you succeed online, like even on an average level, like let's say that if you will be like in top 10 like SMS marketing companies in United States, you're almost a billionaire. If you would be top 10 in like Finland, there's not even 10 in Finland. So it's just also like just going to the biggest market available.